Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Darren. I hope you're all well and you're having a good stitchy week. So today we're going to be doing my stitch with me, and as you can see we're going to be working on the North American Mammals, which is a heaven and earth design, artwork by Ciro Machete. And this is the one that I forgot to pull the project out when I was doing my last update. So this is where we're up to so far on that one. So let's get zoomed in and let's get started. So hopefully today I can keep you in frame. A piece of something stuck on my fabric. Yep. So we'll start with work update as I normally do. So work's a little bit quieter than we expected. We've still got some fairly decent orders there to do, but we're waiting for the wood to come in. Hence the reason I wasn't working this Saturday. Which was good because what the heck? Oh, I know what I've done there. It's a good start already, isn't it? Because Shane needed the car because he is, come on, get back there, running an errand for his sister. All the way through? Nope, still there. This is a good start to the stitch with me. That's the tail bit that I caught. There we go. When I do my starts, I've gone through the back of it for some reason. Don't know how, but I have. There we go. And now for a knot. It's a really good start. There we go. Right, let's try that again. So yes, so Shane's running an errand for his sister. As you know, well, you may know, it's tax time over here in Australia. So his sister wants to get a cabin bed for Shane's youngest niece. Well, that's from IKEA. So they're having to use Shane's dad's car and trailer to go and pick it up. His sister's not gone to pick it up. She just sent Shane and her dad. Because it's a bit of a trek to IKEA over here. From where we are anyway. It's about an hour and a half drive or something like that. So he's gone there to do that. So if we were working, he was not going to work anyway. But if we were working, it means I would have needed the car, which means Shane would have had to go down to his mum and dad's at, well, no, they're not, stupid o'clock in the morning, because I would start at 6 on a Saturday. So it would mean that he would have to be going to his mum and dad's at like 6:30 in the morning, which I'm sure his mum and dad would not have liked. But then he would have to make sure that he was back from IKEA before I finish work. This is not going well today at all. I've got it stuck by my needle. There we go. So that he could pick me up. And also, I got a nice shock last Wednesday when we went to work. My good friend South African, turned up for work, even though he'd left, because where he's doing his apprenticeship for didn't need him for some reason that week. So I think he's probably upset them. He's probably done something to for them to not like him, which is not hard. So he was back at work. So hopefully it was just for that day. I'm hoping he's not back for good again. As I say, I get on with most people. Not many people I don't like, but he's just so annoying. He's trying, I think what he is, he tries too hard to try and be friendly and have a laugh with people, but he goes too far. So he's always playing pranks on people and everything like that, and it's just so annoying. But he's one of these who likes to play pranks on people, but if you do it back to him, he doesn't like it. So yeah. So that was a nice surprise when I got to work on Wednesday, and he just showed up. Switching my needle out. This one's the first one I was using was one of the ball tip ones. I don't know if you can see that. I can't even see where I am either. Where am I? There. So yeah, it's one of the ball tip ones, but for some reason when it was manufactured, they've left they've not sanded it down properly. So it keeps catching on everything. So never mind, I'll switch out to a normal needle. So craft room is still not up and running yet. As I say, it's still exactly the same as it was last time, with the sofa in there and the TV and a cupboard, which is full of stuff that we brought over from the UK. So I'm gonna have to find something to either move that somewhere else or buy another cupboard of some kind to store my projects and everything in. Now I've got a couple of questions for this week. So, first of all, before we get into the questions, I have been thinking, a dangerous thing for me, I know, before anyone says anything. So, first thing, would you be interested if I did more than one stitch with me a week? It's just something I'm toying with at the moment. If people are interested, then I may do it. So if you're interested in more than one stitch with me a week, just let me know. Obviously, time permitting, I can get 2 done. So if you are interested, then drop me a line. And I'll say if there's enough people interested in it, then I will start doing 2 stitch with me's a week. So I'll probably put like one up on a Tuesday and one up on a Thursday or something like that, instead of on a Wednesday. But again, let me know. If you think one's enough for a week, then we'll just stick with the one. I'm sure I'll be able to find stuff to talk about on a second one if we do a second one. I don't know what, but I'll just blabber on about something or other. So let's get into questions that I have. So the first one is from Dawn, who wants to know if I will be doing my Sunset Koala 1/1 or 2/2 or something else. So it'll definitely be over 1. It's on 28 count, so it'll definitely be over 1. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do full cross or tent stitch. Probably will do full cross on that one, because I like that piece. And that one's for me anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's not done quickly. So I think I'll do that one. 1/1 full cross on there. Still haven't decided what I'm going to use the extra fabric for yet. As you know, I've got a fair big piece of that. So I haven't decided how I'm going to do that one yet. Or what I'm going to use the extra fabric on. I'm sure something will crop up for me to use it on. Wind's really picked up here today for some reason. It was meant to be windy yesterday and it wasn't all that windy, and now we've got all the wind today, which I don't mind. I've got my washing on the line, so as you know, windy days are best for drying your washing. So right, so that was that question from Dawn. I'm just going to find my other questions. Well, this isn't a question as such. This is from Heidi. It was, you know, because I've been having problems with my ears. She asked if I'd ever heard of TMJ. Now, TMJ is temporomandibular joint dysfunction. So basically, that's where your jaw connects together near your ear, if I'm reading it right. So I've never heard of it, but my jaw on my left-hand side does crack. So it's not just a little crack either. Mine, when it does crack, it cracks really, really loud. Freaks people out when they hear it. So it does crack really, really loud, but it's done that for years. I've never had a problem with it affecting my ear. Well, that I know of anyway. As everyone does. I've had the odd ear infection now and then. But I've never had it where it's affected my hearing. So I have mentioned it to the doctor, but he said just wait and see what the ear, nose and throat people say. So I don't know if there's anything they can do to correct that or not. So we will soon find out when I get my appointment to go see them. So that one, I don't know if I'm going to be waiting for a letter to see the specialist or if they're just going to ring me, because normally you get one letter to say that they've received your referral, and then you have to wait another week for another letter to come through to say when they're going to see you and how they've categorised you. So we will see on that one. What have I done here? I'm in the wrong spot. Idiot. Am I? Yeah, welcome to Stitch with me. Yep. Time to do some frogging. I've stitched the same row twice. So yeah, so once I see the specialist, hopefully we can get to the bottom of it. The doctor seems to think he'll send me for a hearing test, just to see if working at the timber yard has done anything to my hearing. Which I don't think it has done, because I'm going to say my hearing was fine before I got this infection, and since then it's just gone stupid. Right, let me just mark off what I've done. That's that row. And we did that row. There. Oh, I needed to do an extra stitch. Right. So yes, but he was going to send me to get my hearing test done, and he said I might as well wait for the specialist, because I'll probably do it all at the same time anyway. So it's like, okay, fair enough. So that was all. Just got to wait now for them. Hopefully it's just something simple that they can sort out and everything will be back to normal. And you can guarantee by the time my appointment comes through to go and see the specialist, my hearing will be fine. And I'll no longer have any problems with it, which is generally the case. next question. This one is from... Was there a question in this one? From Angela. Actually, I'm going to show you a little story here, Angela. She was saying that she used to have a rescue cat, and on the first day of receiving it, it got out. So they looked everywhere for it, couldn't find it. They was told to shake the food, and then it'll come back. So they did this for a while. Went searching for the cat out on the streets. Just couldn't find it anywhere. He said that her exes came to help and nearly kidnapped the wrong cat, which I thought was quite funny. So in the evening, kept the doors open and kept shaking the food to try and tempt the cat back. And then all of a sudden they heard a noise in the kitchen, and the cat was actually under the cupboard, under the table. Was it? No, under the kitchen unit. So she was a real timid cat, so she was just hiding under the kitchen unit. So I had to laugh at that one. And then she just gave me some options with regards to storing my floss. And she wants to know, do I live in one of the timber cabin style bungalows? So the house I'm in is... Don't tell me to do it again. Oh no, we're alright. So the house I'm in is called an Old Queenslander. So it is a timber house. So it's all timber. And you might as well class nearly every single house over in Australia as a bungalow, because everything, they don't really have many two-story buildings over here. They're all single-story. So yeah, so they're all those. But with the Queenslanders, the difference is the height of the buildings. So the ceilings are really, really high. Sorry, I was just looking out the window because the wind's really, really got up, and I could hear something moving around, so I was hoping half my washing wasn't flying off the line. So yeah, the ceilings are really, really high. So they are, I would definitely say they're about 4 meters high, something like that. So yeah, they're really, really tall. But with the Old Queenslanders, there's no brick at all, so everything is wood. And they are really drafty. Well, this one is anyway. We've been an old style Queenslander. They're not made like the newer ones, so it is really drafty in here. As I've there, get my teeth in. As I've mentioned before, the outside wall is also the inside wall. So there's no cladding or anything like that on the outside. So if you've got any cracks in between the woods, so you may have noticed on my update videos, you can see the lines in the wood. So that is actually where the wood's joined together for the panels. So that is actually the outside wall as well as the inside wall. So with that, if it's windy, if the cracks have got, well, if the cracks are not sealed properly, then the wind blows straight through them. So hence the reason why it's hard to keep this house warm. It's because of it's not sealed up properly. I think it needs another coat of paint or something like that just to seal them all, or which the landlord was meant to be doing when we first moved in. And still hasn't done it. And then obviously we've got the old louvers, which are the windows that tilt. So they're just little small panels, and they just tilt, so you know, they get about, I think there's about 6 or something like that on each pane. And then that's at the back of the house and in 2 of the bedrooms. And then we have the sash windows, which are the ones that slide up on the runners. We have those in all the other windows that are open. So we've got one in one of the bedrooms, one in the living room, and one in the dining room. And that's it. All the rest of the doors to the outside onto the veranda. So yeah, so it does get pretty cold here. So yeah, you might as well call it one of those wooden cabins, if you like. It might as well be a cabin. Mind you, they're probably going to be warmer. Now there's a fireplace in this house, but it's not an actual fireplace, so it's not connected to anything. I don't know why they've put it in. So when I had my house inspection last week, she said it would be good if that was a proper fire. Then you'd be able to keep it warm. Because it is really hard to keep warm, this house. I'd say because there's no internal doors, except for on the bedrooms. Once you put the radiators on, it's really hard. So we've actually put curtains up to try and close some of the areas off to keep the warmth in. Which seems to be doing the job. So it just takes a couple of hours for the room to get warmed up. That's all. Right. I love the name of this from the next person who's asked oops, did that wrong. Who's asked a question. So it's from somebody called Darth Vader Stitches. Awesome name. Right. Have you ever given up on a project for any reason? So no, I haven't. Some have got close to it, or I've just put them away and not worked on them for a while. But I've never given up on one yet. The white tiger one was getting close to being given up on, even though I hadn't started it, due to the fact that I couldn't see the stitches. But now that I've got it on that blue fabric, and I can see what's happening, this is not getting given up on. But no, I've never given up on a project yet. The Anne Stokes one, Wings Companions, has got close to it a couple of times, mainly because it's all dark stitching, and I could stitch on it for ages and not see anything. So it's just like constantly stitching black background. So yeah, so that one has come close several times to being ditched, but I've decided to persevere with it, and once I think I get out that first page once, I think it might be a bit easier going, because it's not all just going to be the same colour. So we will see on that one, see how that goes. But other than that, no, I've enjoyed working on all my pieces so far. So I don't think I'd have the heart to ditch something if I'd already started it. Well, I suppose it depends on how much you've put into it. If you've put like a couple of thousand stitches into it, you'd be like, nah, I need to keep going. But then again, if you're not enjoying it, I suppose you're probably best off getting rid of it and recycling the fabric and floss for something else. Next one is from Stacy. Do you have trouble with bending your needles? Nope, I have never bent one needle yet. I've not snapped any needles. Seem to be having good luck with that. I see people posting on Facebook and stuff like that all the time about bending needles and snapping them where the eyes are, and I was like, how do you manage that? But I've never had a problem with that at all. And she also wants to know what brand do I recommend. So I've got a fly flying around straight near my eyes, so I do apologise. So I use the Bohan needles. They were given to me from Karen, stitching bug, needle bug, stitching bug. Sorry, I've got a fly buzzing right around my eyeballs. So she sent those out not long after she started her channel. She was switching needles or something like that, and she had loads to give away. So she asked if anyone wanted any, just to drop her a message, so I did. So that was almost 3 years ago, and I've still got some left. To say it was only a small package that she sent, there were loads of needles in there, so that's kept me going for a long time. So they are the bohin. Is it bohin? I think you pronounce it bohin needles. Size 28. I believe that's what size they are anyway. I'm sure that's what she says. She always uses size 28 needles. And then I also use the Baltic ones. Size 28 on those as well. Now the Baltic needles I do like. They do make it a lot easier to stitch with. And I would say as well it does make your stitching a little bit neater. I could be wrong there, but I kind of feel it does. But with those ones, because they cost a little bit more, you don't get them very often. So I've got 4 at the moment. And the only reason I've got 4 is because I've replaced the one that was on my supersized piece, because that one was getting a bit rough from being used for the last about a year now, I think, altogether, on there. So that one's ready for replacing. Next one, I just want to mention, so if you remember last week I talked about the Great Dane that Shane said we needed to get. And I mentioned about cane toads. Now, Lisa's never heard of a cane toad, so she had to Google it. And she says if your dog eats it, does it make them sick or die? So cane toads are very, very, very toxic. So yes, so if you go to pick them up, they release a toxin on their back, which is fatal. So with cats, you've probably got no chance of saving a cat if it gets hold of a cane toad, because of the size of their body. The toxin is just too much for them. With a dog, you've probably got about 15-20 minutes to save a dog. So yeah, a lot of people, if they see a dog with a cane toad, they'll rinse the dog's mouth out with a hose pipe or something like that, which apparently you're not meant to do. You're meant to just wipe it out and then get it to the vets, and then you take it to the vets to get put on some antitoxins, and then even then it's touch and goes to whether or not the animal survives. And apparently the baby cane toads are just as poisonous as the adult ones, so they have the same amount of toxin in them. So yeah, they were originally brought over to Australia. I can't remember where they came from, but they were originally brought over to Australia to combat the cane beetles in the sugar canes farms up north. So they brought a load of these cane toads over, and they never even touched the cane beetles at all. They weren't bothered in that because there were a load of different other bugs that they could eat that they preferred. So it was a pointless exercise. So it didn't cure the cane beetles. The frogs did absolutely nothing to them. They weren't interested in those at all. They wanted all the other grubs that are around, and then they spread like wildfire. So I think they started off in the Northern Territory, I think, and they've made their way down south, and they breed like no one's business. So I think I read up that a female can lay something like 4,000 eggs or something like that a day, or per time, whatever, and most of them survive. And then I don't know where the heck they hide in summer, because it's so dry, but when it starts raining you see them all stood in at my house anyway, you see them all stood in the garden, enjoying the rain. And that's when you go out with a club and batter them. Well, I don't, but that's what they used to do. They used to go out with golf clubs and hit them to kill them off. Now, you're not allowed to do that for humane reasons. You're meant to catch them, stick them in the fridge for so long, and then after that stick them in the freezer to kill them. But a lot of people still go around and just either club them to death, or they will you can get like a toxin or something like that, a poison that you put on the backs, and it kills them. Some of them it takes them a while to die, so that's not apparently humane enough. And there's another one which kills them near enough instantly. But yeah, like I say, the number of cane toads you see around is quite unbelievable. Especially when you're driving and it's been raining, all you see is cane toads all over the road. And then the next morning you go past and all you see is splattered cane toads all over the road. But they just sit there, they don't move, they just sit in the rain. They're stupid. So yeah, so Lisa, yes, cane toads are very toxic and poisonous. They can even make you sick as well, humans. I think they can even kill humans with the toxins. So that's why you've always got to wear gloves when handling them. I was going to say something else about them as well, but I can't remember. Oh, apparently there's only one animal that actually kills cane toads and can do so successfully, and it's a bird. And I don't know where this bird's from, but apparently it's learnt out that you flip the toad over and then attack it from its underbelly. So they're the only predators that the cane toads have actually got, because all the other animals stay away from it, except for these birds. But I don't know where these birds are from, because I know cane toads are in a couple of countries. But yeah, there's a bird that actually has worked out how to kill them and eat them. So it turns them over and attacks them from underneath. But I can't remember what the name of the bird is. The next one was a suggestion from Diane. This was with regards to, I said I didn't know whether to start doing some kind of rotation or anything like that with my projects to get more work done on them. Now she says what she does is she works on one from Sunday to Saturday. So she'll work on one project and then she'll switch it out for the next project. So she works on it a week at a time. So, which is a good idea. So when you've got as many projects as I have, it means that you're not going to get around to doing some pieces for, well, you're only working on them like once a year, which means you wouldn't get much progress on them really. You'd only get a week's worth in. So I don't think that would work. Plus, I think I would get bored of working on the same project for the whole week. I like to switch mine out, as you know. So I think I would get too bored working on that same project for 1 week solid. But it was a good idea for those who have only a couple of projects. Definitely switch them out and just work on them like once a week or something like that. Next one's from Jodie. So who asked, now if you remember, she asked last week what size Q-snaps I use. So she said, when I start a haed, do I start with the 11 by 17 or do I start with a smaller frame and then move up to the 11 by 17? Also, I've got some work done on it. So I depend on the size of the haed, but 9 out of 10, it goes straight into an 11 by 17. The only ones that aren't in the 11 by 17s are the ornament ones, because they're a lot smaller and it doesn't fit into an 11 by 17 with the size of the fabric. So those ones get done on the 11 by 11. So she's going to give them a try, and she'd rather learn from my mistakes than her own. So she's just getting used. She's been stitching for a long time, apparently, about 40 years. And obviously they didn't have all Q-snaps and stuff like that. So she's trying to get used to how people stitch nowadays with all the different gadgets and new technologies out from there. So that's why she asks a fair few questions, which is fine. I don't mind helping out and answering questions whenever people have those. So keep firing away. I do not mind at all. It's always better to have somebody help you than trying to struggle and decide whether or not you're going to need stuff on there. Also as well, Jodie asked last week with regards to a dimension piece she was working on, saying she started at the bottom right, but she normally works from top left, and the best way to get to there. And then thanks to simply a stitcher who answered, just turned your project upside down. And then the bottom right becomes your top left, and your stitches are still going the right way. I would not have thought of that one. So thank you very much for that answer on there. But yeah, I would have just counted up or counted across or something like that. But yeah, just turn your project the right way around. But obviously just remember to turn your pattern upside down as well, because otherwise you're going to end up stitching the top instead of the bottom. Oh, then Grace asked the same, what brand needles and size do you use? So as I say, I use the Bowen needles. I'm pretty sure they're size 28. I've got a couple of DMC ones, size 26, which is what was recommended when I first started stitching. The 26s are alright, the eyes are a bit bigger than the 28. But I prefer, mind you saying that, I used to struggle threading the floss through a size 26. 28s, these 28s are ideal. But again, I'm going to say it just depends on what your preferred needle size is. But I like the 28s, especially doing it on the higher count fabrics. So the 28 count and 32 count works out ideal. If one comes in a kit, then I'll use that needle from that kit for that kit. But other than that, any ones that I kit up myself is always a size 28 needle. Even the Baltic ones I've got are a size 28 as well. Next. So the next one is from Paddy, who asked if I'm working from a paper pattern or using Pattern Keeper. So I solely use Pattern Keeper. It is my go-to. I like Pattern Keeper. Mind you, saying that though, the what's it called? Markup XP RP, the new one that I mentioned the other week. That one is for both Android and Apple. Apparently that one's pretty good as well. Now I haven't played around with it yet, but apparently I've done a big update on there, so it should be a bit different and work a bit better than what it did before. And so it's a new project again, so obviously they've still got new TV and things, but they have a site where you can actually make recommendations to, and they work through these recommendations and see if it's possible to make it work. But I primarily use Pattern Keeper. A couple of my charts are paper charts, but they're all ones from kits. All the rest of mine are PDF, so they're all Pattern Keeper compatible. So But all the kit ones, I just work from there. I just make a working copy. So that I can mark it all off. Which reminds me, I still need to make a working copy of my Mirabilia one. So then I can mark off where I'm up to on there. Might make it a bit easier to see where I've been. So Patty is also doing this piece as well, this project. I think it was Patty who asked if I would stitch on this one. So as I say, if you do have a request for me to work on a specific piece, then by all means, just let me know. I'll gladly accommodate if I can. Oh, and the next one again is from Jodie, who asked, what does your timber job require you to do? So, I've lost my needle. Where have I put my needle? Still on the back. So, with my job, basically we get packs of timber brought in. So we're not using the big saws that you see when they put a full tree through to cut them down into different sizes. We just use just a normal, well, I'd say normal saw. Well, you might as well call them a normal saw. So we get these packs in, and to say they come in a 6 meter length of a certain size grading. We will then cut those down to the size that the customer wants. So say for example, a 6 meter length, they may want 2 meter lengths for the order. So we will cut them down to 2 meters for the customer. And then we will stack those into how many they want in a stack, tie it all up, and then ship it off back to the customer. So it's easy work, depending on the wood that you're cutting, but it's very monotonous. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's like the timber I'm cutting at the moment, there's a really big order for, so they want something like 80 packs. So with the saw I'm on, my saw is the slowest saw in the shed. I can only cut one piece of wood at a time, whereas the other 3 saws can cut multiple pieces at a time. So mine is the slowest saw. And I have, I think it's 80 packs on one order to do. And then I got given another order as well, so I'm actually working 3 orders. So I've got 80 packs on one, I've got 27 packs on another order, and then I have 12, 19, 68 for another order. So I don't know how they expect me to get all these orders done. Like I say, if they're single cuts out of a pack, then it's quite easy. But a lot of the ones I'm doing are multiple cuts. So I'll cut one at, say, 2 meters long. You can't even see one doing it. One at 2 meters long, and then from the length of what I'm doing, and then it'll have another cut as well. So you'll get like 2 cuts out of the same piece of wood. So one's 2 meters long, and then the other one's like 1.5 meters long. So then you've got to stack both lots at a time. And then they're both different size packs as well. So it does take me a lot longer, because I'm on the saw on my own. Because obviously Trish used to work with me, but she no longer works there. So because I'm on the saw on my own, it takes even longer, because I have to go and separate the 2 different cuts and then stack them myself, as well as then feeding the wood through myself. Whereas a couple of the other saws, they've got like 2 people on them, And I would say they can cut, depending on the size of the wood, they can cut up to like 5 pieces of wood at a time. So their packs are quite quick. Whereas mine are not. But hopefully they've got a new, they've got somebody new. When they're due to start, I don't know. So hopefully they're going to come on my saw, so I can start getting some packs done. Otherwise, these orders that I've got are going to take me about 3 months to do. That's ridiculous. And I think that was the last question. Yep. So that was the last question. So we're up to 45 minutes so far. So those questions kept me going a fair bit. So I definitely don't think I'll get this strand done, but we'll see. See how we go. Now this Q-snap that I'm using is one of the cheaper ones, the R&R ones. Now with these ones, they were really good when I first got them. They used to keep your fabric nice and tight. But these ones warp so quickly. So 9 out of 10, that's what you'll see. Like here, you'll see the black felt on it. That's just to give it a bit of extra grip to stop the fabric from sliding around. But from having it in the Lowry stand as well, the tubes on them are no longer, well, the sides that clamps onto the Lowry stand are no longer round. They're now an oval shape. So yeah, I've been trying to get more Q-snaps. So I think I've got the 11 by 11 one, and I've got an 8 by 8 one. And then I've got 3 of the larger ones. I want to get a couple more just so that I don't have to keep taking projects off to put another project on. So then I can keep them all on the Q-snaps until after I've done my update videos. And then they're all there and it looks neater than seeing them all creased. So I'll get some more of those at some point. Oh, also as well, I had a big shock, kind of a fan moment. On my last stitch with me, I actually got a comment on there from Teresa Little Stitches over in the UK, Floss Tuber. And I was quite shocked. Now, I know she subscribed to my channel a while ago, but she's never really commented. Well, she's never commented, I don't think. And this one was the first time I've actually seen a comment from her, and I was so shocked. It was like, wow, Teresa's commented on one of my videos. Yay, get me. So yeah, fan moment. 1, 2, 3. I missed a stitchy. Thought it didn't look right. So yeah, so I was well chuffed when I received that one. So Teresa, if you're watching this one, thank you very much for commenting on my video. You made my day. And if you don't know who Teresa is, you may want to go and check her out. She does some awesome pieces. So that's Teresa Little Stitcher. At the moment, she's doing a conversion on her house, so she's showing you the build projects as well. Her and her husband's doing it all herself. And they're actually moving pretty quick on it. But again, that looks like it's going to be a fabulous conversion on her house. Now she's over in the UK in London, or just outside London, I think it is. I'm sure she says she commutes into London. But yeah, she's such a lovely, bubbly person. Always makes me laugh. sure I've read the stitching out on this one correctly. I have, so that's right. So hopefully on this page, it may not be too long, and we'll start getting to some of the animals, but I don't know whereabouts they start on it yet. So anything you don't know until you've actually selected the colour that's in the animal, and when you zoom out you can see exactly whereabouts it's going to be. I know there's an owl down this part here somewhere, and at the top here it goes across into the cloud and then starts the antlers for the, I don't know if it's a reindeer or what do you call them, a yak or elk or whatever you call them. So I know that one starts coming in soon. A fair bit of while before I get to the mountain lion. Is it mountain lion? I think so. Puma. The big cat in the middle of it anyway, with the bright blue eyes. I'm not very good with these animals from other countries. Well, I know for a fact I definitely haven't done as many stitches as I did on my last stitch with me. I think that was a record, 300 and something in one hour. Well, it wasn't even an hour, was it? It was like 45 minutes. The cats must have definitely run themselves ragged earlier on, because they're all fast asleep. No one's moved for a while. I bet you any money though, as soon as I finish this video and stand up, they'll start. Especially if I go outside, because I'll be going outside to check the washing. They don't like it when I go out and check the washing. I thought I'd done that one. Tiger just sits at the door and... Oh no, I did do it right. Tiger just sits at the door and cries, because he wants out as well. And the kittens end up just running right around the house. Yeah, Tiger definitely doesn't like being left alone. And he's the first one you hear when you come home from work. You will hear he always seems to know when the car's turning up. And he will sit in the windowsill. And he will start crying and whining because he wants either out to meet you, or he's telling you to hurry up and get in and feed him. Which I'm guessing is probably the second one. So what are we at time-wise? So we're at 53 minutes, so we're not doing bad. So yeah guys, so as I said earlier on then, so what do you reckon? I'm looking at ways to like improve the channel as such, or get more content out there for you guys. So would you recommend another stitch with me, so I have 2 stitch with me's a week? Would you recommend something else? But yeah, I'm just trying to get the channel out there a bit more and do a bit more content. I know most people only do like 1 stitch with me a week. I suppose it's probably finding subjects to talk about. But if I know I'm going to do more than one, I can start saving some certain subjects up. But again, let me know. Oh, that reminds me. Have you guys ever heard a fox scream? Oh my goodness. Talk about blood curdling. We have a fox around here somewhere. And the other night I heard this screaming. And I thought, geez, it sounds like someone's getting killed. and I thought it was maybe one of the neighbours over, well, I say over the road, still over the road, but it's still a bit of distance away. I thought it might be one of them having a party or something like that. Anyway, it went off again, and I could say it's real piercing scream, and it's like, geez, what's going off? And then it kept going off, and it turns out it's a fox running around up here. I don't know what it was doing, but the scream, I've never heard a fox scream before, and oh my, it's definitely an eerie sound, that's for sure. And it's done it now for the last, well, it did it for about a week solid. Always started around about 8 o'clock at night, running around screaming. Now foxes kind of like to stay in the same area. Apparently they have a circumference of like 5Ks or something like that they just patrol all the time. But yeah, this one, for, I think it was about 3 weeks. No. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I think. Every night, going around screaming. But the first time you hear it, like I say, it just sounded like a person screaming. But yeah, I've never heard a fox scream before. I didn't even know they screamed. So yeah, that's definitely an experience to hear. So I don't know if anybody else has heard foxes scream before. But if not, you're in for a treat when you do hear it. Luckily for us, it seems to know when we're going to bed, and it stops. Because I don't think there'd be anything but worse than being woke up to a fox screaming as it runs down the field. Yeah, because I think it's been in our paddock, well, around the house, because it went off the other day and it sounded like it was right outside the door. And that made me jump. But yeah, normally it's over and done with like by 9 o'clock at night. So thank goodness for that. Right. I'm going to leave it here. I will continue probably finishing off this thread, because there's not much more of this colour here to do. So we're at about an hour anyway. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As I say, if you've got any suggestions for content on my channel, so as I say, if you want to see extra stitch with maze or anything else, any other kind of suggestions, then please let me know, and then I can take that into consideration. Let's see where we go from there. But again, thank you very much for watching. Again, any questions, comments, please put those down below, or again, email me at dizzystitcher@gmail.com. Again, that'll be linked down below as well. Same as all my Facebook group details, if you do want to join the Facebook group. Especially if you want to join the Zoom meetings, then that's available for you there as well. I suppose I better see how many stitches we've done in this hour. So we managed to get 150 stitches in, so that's not too bad. As I say, I'll continue and just finish this colour off, because there's not much of it left in this area. So you might see a little bit of a difference when you see my update, but not much of a difference. And it would help if you could actually see what I was actually doing again. So, right. So we'll zoom out so you can see what we've done. So that's what we've done so far. So I have no idea whereabouts that is on here. Probably around about here. So yeah, this is the big beast here. I think it's it looks like a reindeer to me. It could just be an elk or something like that. And then we've got the owl just here as well. There's lots of different little animals on here, so it's going to be fun getting into those and seeing those materialise. Somebody I know has actually started up in this corner, and they've already completed this eagle, and it looks absolutely amazing. So there we are, guys. So that's the North American mammal. So again, I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching. Again, as I say, any questions, comments, please let me know. And I will catch you in my next update video or my next Stitch with me. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, and happy stitching. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.